Arsenal's new game plan is nothing short of terrifying.
Look, you just silence the haters, and again, Arteta, I listened to him, and I'm a big fan of Arteta. I was upset with him from the last game, but I do believe in him, and that's why he said everyone was laughing at him when he brought in David Raya for Ramsdale. A lot of the players that he's brought in, everyone's questioned. Madueke, again, he's answering the critics.
Mikel Arteta has taken a club that once lived in the shadows of mediocrity and turned it into the most consistent and balanced force in the Premier League.
Team with Pep Guardiola, they always a favourite, but of course, my opinion this year is Arsenal number 1.
3 straight seasons finishing second, and while that isn't the ultimate goal, it laid the foundations for what is now the scariest project in English football. The mission was simple: build a squad that could finally win the Premier League. And that mission brought Andrea Berta into the picture, the transfer mastermind who delivered the most outrageous window Arsenal have ever seen. Martin Zubimendi, the best number 6 in the world. Eberechi Eze, the magician who finally brought balance to the left side.
Eze. And Gyokeres!
Victor Gyokeres.
Gyokeres who does favour moving out to the left. It's Victor Gyokeres!
It's the cold-blooded striker, Noni Madueke, once unwanted, now silencing every critic. Christian Mosquera, Piero Hincapié, Christian Nørgaard, and even keeper to reinforce depth. Berta didn't just buy players, he completed Arteta's chessboard. And that's not all. Hale End keeps shining, the factory that gave Arsenal Bukayo Saka and Miles Lewis-Skelly, now producing Max Dowman, who's already stepped into the first team.
Very impressive at his age as well. Some of the things that he does in training are unbelievable. He's a player obviously with a huge talent that we have a lot of belief that we can develop him to become one of our own, and he's doing very well so far.
The combination of elite signings and academy gems has armed Arteta with a squad more complete than any he has ever had. Defensively, they're a fortress, the meanest backline in England. Just 1 goal conceded so far. In midfield, they have a trio that looks like football's cheat code. Zubimendi dictating tempo, Odegaard carving defences apart, and Rice running harder than anyone else in the league. Up front, it's chaos for the opposition. Saka leading with heart and brilliance. Madueke bringing speed and hunger on the right. Gyokeres punishing every mistake in the box. And Eze giving Arsenal a new dimension on the left. This is not the Arsenal of the past. This is Arteta's monster. A team so complete, so balanced and so relentless that their new game plan feels evil, and the rest of the Premier League should be very, very worried. Arsenal are presenting a serious case to finally lift the Premier League trophy for the first time since 2004.
I think Arsenal are a more settled outfit.
Yeah.
I know they've made some good signings. I think they could do it.
Mikel Arteta's men have started the campaign in convincing fashion, winning away at Old Trafford. Dismantling Daniel Farke's Leeds United. Suffering only to a wonder strike from Szoboszlai at Anfield. But the Gunners were definitely not outclassed on the pitch, and then overwhelming Nottingham Forest with pure dominance. Each match has told a different story, yet Arsenal have shown an ability to adapt and control the narrative. Against stronger rivals, the Gunners continue to defend with a mid-block, waiting for the right moment to strike in transitions. Against teams who sit back, like Leeds or Forest, Arteta's side have displayed new mechanisms to break down compact low blocks, something that was often missing in previous years.
We don't sign anyone. Do you think that's the title hopes over?
Yes. I think it would be very, very difficult. You're going to have to play the same players week in, week out, and that's not sustainable, is it? Been proved with Saka. And if the same happens to one of our other forward players, we just don't have the depth now.
Last season, the lack of creativity in static possession was a recurring weakness. Now there are clear signs that Arsenal have added variation and precision to their attacking play. They are still intense, still competitive, but now far more complete in the way they approach different contexts. The trademark of Arteta's current Arsenal is the 3-2 structure in the build-up. Jurriën Timber steps inside from right back to form a back 3, while Riccardo Calafiori tucks into midfield alongside Declan Rice, creating a double pivot. This setup shapes a midfield box, giving Arsenal numerical superiority in central areas, with more passing angles and the ability to progress through patient circulation or sharp vertical balls. The benefits of this system have already been decisive. The third goal against Leeds was the perfect example. Rice dragged his marker forward, leaving Calafiori free at the base. With space to advance, the Italian launched a direct ball to Victor Gyokeres, whose aggressive run behind the backline was rewarded with a clean finish. A similar pattern unfolded against Nottingham Forest. Calafiori again initiated play from deep, spotting Ebereki Eze in a pocket of space. Eze drove forward with intent, feeding Gyokeres, who used his change of pace and awareness of timing to create separation between two defenders before finishing with authority. A textbook move that showcased the high-level coordination of Arteta's system. This combination of structure and individual brilliance highlights how Arsenal have built one of the most efficient attacking frameworks in the league. But there's more. One of the most intriguing evolutions this season has been the use of overlaps, a mechanism that stretches defences and opens dangerous pockets for Arsenal's attackers. One of the most fascinating tools Arsenal displayed against Leeds was the intelligent use of overlaps to stretch and dismantle defensive lines. In a key sequence, Jurrien Timber burst forward through the inside-wide corridor, shifting outward in and dragging the rival midfielder with him. At first glance, it looked like a simple support run. In reality, it served a double purpose, pulling his direct marker away, while simultaneously opening a passing lane through the middle. With Bukayo Saka holding width and pinning the fullback, Timber's outward sprint created a gap at the top of the box. That corridor was immediately exploited by Martin Ødegaard, who received the ball on the half-turn with time to shoot. The overlap here wasn't about Timber touching the ball, it was about generating the platform for Ødegaard to dictate. This sequence illustrates how overlaps in Arteta's arsenal are not isolated tricks, but part of a deliberate, collective mechanism. They combine width, attraction, and release, showing the growing maturity of the team's positional play. The runner without the ball is measured not by his own involvement, but by the advantage he creates for others. The same principle was evident against Nottingham Forest. Victor Gyokeres combined with Noni Madueke, who paused on the ball with composure. As the Forest defence shuffled, Gyokeres powered into space behind him. Madueke distracted the central defenders with feints and disguise, ensuring no one tracked the Swede. The overlap left Gyokeres clean through on goal, and though his thunderous strike smacked the post, the move was a masterclass in timing and deception. Overlaps in this Arsenal side are more than athletic runs. They are carefully orchestrated triggers that maximise the intelligence and power of Arteta's offensive unit. They embody a team that understands how to manipulate opponents through both movement and patience. Next up, the jewel in the crown, Arsenal and Victor Gyokeres' aggressiveness. How the Swedes' ruthless runs inside the box take Arteta's plan to an even scarier level. Another of the most striking traits Arsenal are adding this season is the sheer aggressiveness and synchrony of their box runs, and at the centre of it all stands Victor Gyokeres. The Swede offers something Arsenal had been missing, a pure number 9.
Maybe they have a different number 9 than they had last season, although Jesus was also a real number 9, but didn't play that much. But I think the one they have now is different to Havertz, for example, or Trossard that played last season in our home game over there. So that is more a false 9, you could say, where I think Gyokeres is more a target man. So that's maybe a small difference.
Unlike the hybrid forwards Arteta tried in the past, Gyokeres thrives on physical duels, diagonal movements, and occupying dangerous spaces inside the area. His runs towards the near post constantly force defenders to react, dragging markers and creating new channels for teammates. Take a typical pattern. Saka receives wide on the right, Gyokeres darts diagonally to the near post, and Madueke mirrors him with a direct surge into the same zone. The centre-backs are immediately pinned, the full-back is caught between decisions, and suddenly the far post opens for Ødegaard or Calafiori to arrive unmarked. It's not about who takes the shot, it's about the choreography that multiplies possibilities. Gyokeres' strength is not just theoretical. Against Liverpool, he showed how dangerous he can be when set free into duels. A clever double movement nearly allowed him to outfox Virgil van Dijk, and when it came to physical contact, the Dutchman looked surprisingly uncomfortable. That action alone summed up the menace Gyokeres brings. He is both a runner and a fighter. The same instinct was on display against Nottingham Forest. Ebereki Eze delivered a perfect ball, and Gyokeres' ability to generate separation gave him the split second needed to strike. He's always in the right place, at the right time, making himself the natural target for Arsenal's wingers. For For Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, and Eze, having a striker who constantly attacks the space is transformative. Every time they drive forward, they know the Swede will be there, ready to finish. That certainty changes decision-making, adds clarity to the attack, and keeps opposition defenders under constant strain. With Gyokeres, Arsenal no longer just construct beautifully, they finish with authority. His presence sharpens the whole system, ensuring that Arteta's elaborate build-up always finds a brutal end product. Victor Gyokeres doesn't just add goals, he changes the way Arsenal structure themselves with the ball. Unlike the more associative strikers Arteta experimented with before, Gyokeres doesn't constantly drop deep to link play. Instead, he fixes the centre-backs and pushes them back with his sheer presence and vertical movement. Every time he makes a forceful run in behind, the defensive line has no choice but to retreat a few metres. This stretching effect has two huge consequences. First, it opens up the intermediate spaces that Arsenal's midfield thrive on. Players like Odegaard and Eze suddenly find themselves free between the lines, able to receive with their body turned, scan the field, and dictate tempo. The added time and angles make Arsenal's possession far more threatening. Second, if the opponent decides not to chase those runs and simply drop deeper, the entire block is forced closer to its own box. That automatically shifts Arsenal's circulation higher up the pitch into finishing zones, where Gyokeres' teammates can combine around the penalty area. Either way, the Swede's movement bends the opposition. He either elongates them, creating vertical gaps, or he squeezes them back, inviting Arsenal to suffocate them with territorial dominance. It's not about touches or passes, his job is to pin, drag and disrupt. That constant fixing of markers makes him a tactical weapon as much as a goal scorer. Gyokeres doesn't just occupy defenders, he alters the whole geometry of the game. When you look at Arsenal right now, it's not just Victor Gyokeres making the difference. Every single new signing that stepped onto the pitch against Nottingham Forest looked like they'd been part of Arteta's system for years.
I don't know the idea for Mikel is going to play, to read it and adapt it, but it's another unbelievable team. They defend really well, they don't concede chances, they don't concede goals, they are really good in many aspects, they control everything. So it was the biggest challenge. Title contenders the last 2 seasons, they are there, and they will be there for many years because they created that depth squad, a young team. So it's another good test, but they are in September.
That's how well they've slotted in. Martin Zubimendi stole the show with the first brace of his career.
Unbelievable. 2 very difficult goals in terms of execution, but I think he's coming the team, he's coming the club, and you feel a real presence, a real authority in everything that he does on that pitch as well. And if he can on top of that contribute in the scoreline with goals, what else can we ask?
Including a stunning volley to open the scoring.
Talk to us about that Zubimendi goal. Is that something you've been teaching him on the training?
Certainly no. Zero credit for that. Incredible. The execution, the timing, the way he connects with the ball, and the way the ball travels in that trajectory. Certainly he's given us a lot of positive things. His presence, his authority on the pitch, the way he connects with the players, and that composure that he's having. If he starts to add assists and goals like this, then it's another dimension of a player.
His composure, his ability to dictate tempo, and now his knack for goals are making him the engine Arsenal always lacked. Declan Rice finally has a partner who can shoulder responsibility in the base, and it's transforming the midfield balance. On the wings, Noni Madueke was relentless. His direct dribbling, quick shifts and fearlessness in 1v1 situations gave Arsenal an extra layer of unpredictability. He stretches defences differently to Saka, but with equal danger, forcing opponents to commit extra bodies and leaving space elsewhere. Christian Mosquera has been another revelation. Thrown in at Anfield after just 3 minutes on his Premier League debut, he didn't flinch. Since then, he's been a pillar in the backline, helping Arsenal to 3 clean sheets in 4 matches. His blend of timing, aggression and composure has made the absence of William Saliba less painful than anyone expected. And that's the real story here. Arsenal still suffer injuries like last season. Saka out, Odegaard out, Saliba out, yet the level doesn't drop. That's because the reinforcements aren't just squad depth, they're performing at starter quality straight away. Mikel Arteta himself admitted he's been surprised by the immediate impact. He praised Zubimendi's goals, highlighted Mosquera's maturity, and underlined how each new face is adding something unique. It's not adaptation, it's instant integration. This is why Arsenal feels so terrifying right now. With injuries, they don't collapse, they reload. With signings, they don't just fill gaps, they raise the ceiling. What Andrea Berta achieved in this transfer window is nothing short of remarkable. Arsenal didn't just buy names, they bought solutions, and now we're seeing how these solutions are working together to create a more unpredictable, dangerous and complete side. It feels similar to those turning points in past seasons, like when Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel and Tierney reshaped the backline in 2021, or when Raya replaced Ramsdale in 2023. This year, it's Gyokeres, Zubimendi, AZ, Mosquera and Madueke forming the backbone of the new Arsenal.
We've got to give this guy some serious credit. The way he has been operating this transfer window has been stealth and it's been brilliant.
What's impressive is that 5 of the 8 signings started against Forest in a 3-0 win, and all of them contributed in their own way. Zubimendi made headlines with his brace, Gyokeres kept stretching defences with his runs, Easy provided balance and invention. Mosquera once again looked solid at the back, but the surprise package was Noni Madueke. When Madueke signed from Chelsea, few expected him to be such a decisive factor so quickly.
He looked serious today, and especially
Props to the man.
Especially what's his name, Madueke.
Oh man.
Blood.
Talk to me about Madueke.
How many times did Madueke skin him, drop the shoulder, what, gone. He was moving mad. He showed levels, and I was getting onto him when I think starting of the season or something, he must have missed a penalty or something mad, and I was like, please don't tell me we've just gone and bought an idiot to my squad. But I take that all back, my bro. I take that all back, my bro.
Yet against Forest, his name was already being chanted inside the Emirates. His relentlessness on the right wing brought life to a match that could easily have slipped into routine. By half-time, he had completed more dribbles than anyone else on the pitch. 5 attempted, 4 completed, constantly putting Forest's fullbacks under pressure. What stood out most was his unpredictability. He wasn't glued to his left foot. Instead, he happily went around the outside on his right, clipping in crosses to the far post. One sequence saw him beat Ndoye with ease before laying off for Timber, sparking the corner that led to Zubimendi's opener. His directness, his willingness to take on defenders at every opportunity, gave Arsenal a freshness that had sometimes been missing last season. Even when he didn't score or assist, his presence reshaped the game. He took responsibility on corners with Ødegaard absent, and his deliveries set up dangerous second ball opportunities, one of which was buried by Zubimendi. Later in the second half, instead of always driving himself, he showed patience by letting Timber overlap, which almost resulted in a goal for Rice. This variation is exactly what makes him unpredictable. Sometimes direct, sometimes combining, always forcing defenders to guess. With Saka sidelined, Madueke has carried his England momentum back into Arsenal red, and he's thriving under Arteta. He may not yet be as refined technically as Saka, but his heart, his intensity, and his drive make him invaluable. When you add this to Gyokeres' vertical power, Zubimendi's control, Mosquera's maturity, and Eze's creativity, you see the full picture. These signings aren't just individuals shining, they are blending into a collective system that looks sharper and more dangerous every week. Now we need to talk about the very promising first start from Easy.
Delighted to have him. The talent is unquestionable. He's done it in this league. The personality, unbelievable. I've been very, not surprised, but I would say gladly witnessing everything that he's about, and his family as well. So they have the right feelings to this club, and you can tell that what happened to him on that pitch means the world to him.
If Arsenal needed balance on the left, Eberechi Eze has delivered it. His debut showed exactly why Mikel Arteta pushed so hard for him. He offers something the Gunners didn't really have before a left-sided outlet who combines flair with tactical discipline. Right from the opening minutes against Forest, Eze showed what makes him different. His very first action was a trademark shoulder drop, so sharp that the defender lost his boot in the duel. Then came a disguised dummy through to Gyokeres that made the Emirates gasp, a moment of pure invention that unlocked space in one touch.
Eze. And Gyokeres!
Madueke may have been more electric in the first half, but Eze kept reminding everyone he was there. Just before the interval, he drove to the byline instead of cutting inside, a simple but effective decision, and threaded a cutback through legs into the path of Gyokeres. The Swede couldn't quite finish it, but the warning signs were clear. After the break, Eze turned that warning into reality. Forest finally held a high line, and Arsenal punished them instantly. Calafiori sent a long ball forward, Easy kept it simple, cushioning a perfect left-footed pass across goal for Gyokeres to bury. A move that looked rehearsed, but in truth was just two new signings, already speaking the same footballing language. Ibarrechi is balance, unpredictability and pure individuality. Unlike previous profiles who always cut inside or slowed the tempo, Easy thrives on variety. He can glide past markers with his trademark shoulder drop, stretch the pitch by holding the width, or cut diagonally inside to link with Gyokeres. His dribbling is elegant yet aggressive. He doesn't just carry the ball, he carries defenders with him, forcing them to backpedal and creating pockets of space for teammates. When Arsenal launch transitions, Easy is often the trigger. His ability to accelerate play in 2 touches means he can turn a defensive recovery into a dangerous attack within seconds. Another key strength is his decision-making. He knows when to keep things simple, like the cushioned assist he gave Gyokeres against Forest, and when to gamble with a dummy or feint that unlocks defensive lines. This mix of efficiency and flair is what makes him such a dangerous outlet. With Eze on the left and Saka on the right, Arsenal finally look symmetrical in their attack. One brings relentless directness, the other creativity and balance, and together they make Arteta's side far less predictable. Eze wasn't constant chaos like Madueke, but he didn't need to be. His role is balance, timing, and quality in decisive moments. And on his very first full start, he gave Arsenal exactly that. We now understand why Martin Zubimendi gave Mikel Arteta goosebumps the moment his name was on the shortlist. This is not just a signing, this is Arteta's version of Rodri, the holding midfielder who brings balance, who dictates the rhythm, who becomes decisive under pressure, and connects every single piece of the puzzle. Zubimendi is not just another player, he is a genius in disguise. At only a few games into his Arsenal career, he has already shown why he must be regarded as the best number 6 in the Premier League right now. He shields the defence with calm authority, dictates tempo with surgical precision, and allows Odegaard and Rice to attack without fear. What makes him special is the completeness of his game. He is ruthless in pressing, intelligent in positioning, and lethal when he steps forward. His volley against Forest was not a coincidence, but a glimpse of the technical brilliance he carries. His late arrival for the second goal underlined a rare awareness for a holding midfielder. Zubimendi belongs to the same lineage of Spanish masterminds Busquets, Rodri, and now himself. Arsenal finally have their conductor, a player who does not just play football but writes the script of every match. And in him, Arteta has found the equilibrium that can turn Arsenal from contenders into champions. And now a round of applause for David Raya, because he has become the silent guardian of Arsenal's rise. Week after week, the Spaniard proves why Arteta trusts him as the foundation of this project. He is not just keeping clean sheets.
Goalkeeper, David Raya makes his 100th appearance in all comps for you against Nottingham Forest. 41 clean sheets, nearly 50%, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's the best in the history of the football club.
Okay, I'll rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's unbelievable. And I was hammered when I brought him, yeah? So that's perspective as well. Very good to understand the game, and especially when a few months or years go by. It's really good to look back as well and reflect on that.
He is locking the door completely. Already this season he has recorded 3 clean sheets in 4 matches, a statistic that underlines his dominance. Only strikes of absolute perfection, like Szoboszlai's thunderbolt at Anfield, have been able to beat him. His saves are as decisive as goals. Against Cunha at Old Trafford, he denied what looked unstoppable. Versus Nottingham Forest, he touched the ball just enough to send it crashing off the post in a moment that summed up his form. Sharp, brave, and unbeatable when the pressure is highest. Aye.
Banana, bar deflection, off the bar. Watkins denied. Stunning goalkeeping again.
Raya does more than stop shots. He commands the box, reads danger before it happens, and gives composure in Arsenal's build-up. With him, Arteta's backline looks unbreakable, his presence giving confidence to defenders and structure to the entire team. This season, Raya is not just the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, he is one of Arsenal's pillars. The difference between holding on and collapsing. The man who makes every clean sheet feel inevitable. Arsenal's new game plan is more than just tactical tweaks, it's a full evolution. Arteta has turned a once one-dimensional team into a machine that adapts to every context. Overlaps, positional rotations, and the addition of a true striker in Gyokeres give them fresh solutions against any defensive shape. Zubimendi provides balance, Easy gives the left wing harmony, Madueke offers relentless verticality, Mosquera solidity, and Raya closes the door at the back. This is no longer the Arsenal that depended solely on transitions or mid-block intensity. This is a side capable of dictating, controlling, and suffocating. And with Hale End still producing talent, the squad only grows deeper. There are still details to polish, particularly in tight creative spaces, but the trajectory is undeniable. Arsenal are no longer just contenders. They are being built, brick by brick, to win the Premier League.